Welcome to Task 20 of your Christmas Carol Remote Learning. This can be found on page 33-34 of your Christmas Carol workbook. This section comes from Stave 4, and this is where Scrooge encounters the last ghost, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Just before the section we are about to read, Scrooge has met the ghost and played with him to share his lessons so that Scrooge can avoid the fate of his deceased partner. The ghost does not respond to Scrooge, showing Scrooge's lack of control over what is happening. The ghost takes Scrooge to various sites, in which he encounters businessmen talking about the death of a rich man, and also some thieves who have stolen the belongings of the rich man. None of these people seem particularly distraught at the death of the man. The ghost then takes him to the Cratchit's house, where they have lost Tiny Tim. This is a stark contrast to the death of the man, as we see the struggle and the impact that the death of Tiny Tim has had upon the family. This then takes us to the graveyard scene, which we will read now. A churchyard here then. The wretched man, whose name he had now to learn, lay underneath the ground. It was a worthy place, walled in by houses, overrun by grass and weeds. The growth of vegetation's death, not life, choked up with too much burying, fat with repented appetite. A worthy place. The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one. He advanced towards it, trembling. The phantom was exactly as it had been, but he dreaded that he saw new meaning in its solemn shape. Before I draw nearer to the stone to which you point, said Scrooge, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they shadows of things that may be only? Still the ghost pointed downwards to the grave by which it stood. Men's courses will foreshadow certain ends, to which, if persevered in, they must lead, said Scrooge. But if the courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus, with what you show me. The spirit was immovable as ever. Scrooge kept towards it, trembling as he went, and following the finger, read upon the stone of the neglected grave his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. Am I that man who lay upon the bed? He cried, upon his knees. The finger pointed from the grave to him and back again. No, spirit! Oh, no, no! The finger still was there. Spirit, he cried, tight clutching at its robe, hear me! I am not the man I was. I will not be the man I must have been but for this intercourse. Why, show me this if I am past all hope. For the first time the hand appeared to shake. Good spirit, he pursued, as down upon the ground he fell before it. Your nature intercedes for me, and pities me. Assure me that I yet may change these shadows you have shown me, by an altered life. The kind hand trembled. I will honour Christmas in my heart, and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive with me. I will not shut out the lessons they teach. Oh, tell me I may sponge away the writing on the stone. In his agony, he caught the spectre's hand. It sought to free itself, but he was strong in his entreaty, and detained it. The spirit, stronger yet, repulsed him. Holding up his hands in a last prayer to have his fate reversed, he saw an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrunk, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost. So the first question asks us what is dramatically revealed within this scene. So across the course of Stave 4, there's this use of dramatic irony as it looks to build up to the scene we now see. Dramatic irony is when the reader is clear to what is happening, yet the character seems unaware. In the build-up to this section, the reader is actively aware that Scrooge is the rich man that has been referred to and that has since died. Yet Scrooge seems unaware, or perhaps unwilling to accept this. In this section, Scrooge's death is dramatically revealed, and the reader's thoughts are implicitly confirmed. This section is dramatically revealed due to the fact that it refrains from taking us straight to the grave and to the name written within it. Instead, we are provided with a descriptive image of the site, which reflects that of an unkempt graveyard full of weeds, showing a lack of regard to the death of this man. Scrooge too shows a reluctance to face the headstone, as trembling he asks the ghost if these things can be changed, saying, "Are they shadows of things that may be?" Eventually Scrooge is forced to look upon the headstone, which he does with some reluctance as he trembles towards it, and eventually reveals his own name, Ebenezer Scrooge. The next question asks us to consider why this quotation is important for Scrooge. The quotation is, "Before I draw nearer to that stone to which he points to Scrooge, answer me one question. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only?" Scrooge asks this question to the spirit, as the experience of seeing all of the spirits has begun to alter Scrooge and allowed him to change his ways. Scrooge wants the spirits to confirm to him that this experience has not all been for nothing, and that to offer some hope of redemption. So Scrooge is looking to the ghosts to confirm to him that there is some hope for him avoiding the fate of his partner. Our last question asks us, how does Dickens show that Scrooge has learnt from his experience with the ghosts and repented his sins? Well, Scrooge certainly has changed as a result of the encounters with the ghosts, and we can see clear signs of this throughout the novella. An example in which we see remorse could be when Dickens refers to Scrooge's hand as a kind hand, which you can see I've highlighted in orange. This shows a complete flip from the description which was taken from earlier from Stave 1, in which Scrooge was described as a tight-fisted man. By doing so, Dickens wishes to highlight the changes through the word choices he uses to convey his view of Scrooge. This then leads to Scrooge's saying to the spirit that he honoured Christmas in my heart and to try to keep it all the year. In doing so, Scrooge is promising to exhibit in him the traits that people show at Christmas, but not only at Christmas, but he's promising to do this throughout the year. So Scrooge is going to be continuously this kind, generous man who perhaps is more thinking of others, rather than the character that we saw earlier in the novella when the charity men came to him and he refuses to then give anything to them. What is more, Scrooge promises us that he's going to remember what the spirits have taught him, as he says, "I will not shut out the lessons that they teach." Here he's saying that he's going to remember this message that the spirits have come to him and given him, and he's going to then reflect on that and change his ways. And it's not something that's going to be short-lived for Scrooge, because he's made that clear promise that it's going to be something that he's living day to day by. So hopefully some of that's helped you to have a better understanding for that. Thank you for listening.